I spent a little time cleaning up the joints on these drawers, and I've also labelled the pieces so that F matches F, E matches E, etc. So they go back in the same order. So I know the joints are going to go up nice and snugly. Having completed the drawer carcass, I now have got to think about putting a bottom in it, and I've decided to use corrugated card. This is actually the card from the box my cat food comes in, and my cat's very kindly donated it to me. I'm going to make the drawer bottom 4mm bigger all the way around than the internal measurement of that carcass, so that by cutting a saw cut into the 4 pieces 4mm deep, it will hold the card in place. The internal measurement of my carcass is 51 by 111. So if I cut a piece of card 4mm bigger than that measurement all the way around, then it should be a perfect fit. Let's go. The measurements I need are 59 by 119. Good. 59 by 119. Now I've got to saw a line dead parallel to this edge so that I can fit the card in, and I just hope that my saw cut is going to be the right size to fit that card in. We'll see. Before I do anything else, I'm going to make a piece of wood that's exactly that width, and then I'm going to tape it on top of there so it doesn't move, and I'm going to saw down the edge of the piece of wood so I know it's dead straight. I've got my piece of wood, and the next thing I'm going to do is to open out my drawer and just draw a line roughly where that cut's going to be, so that I know that I'm putting the groove on the correct side of the piece of wood. So it'll be along here. Let's check I've done that right. Yes, so there'll be no mistakes. Now I've got to set this up so that that side is dead flush with the top of the piece of work, and then I'm going to cut a groove in here. Tape next. Quite important that it's dead flush along there. We want all these grooves to line up around the drawer so that we can get our cardboard base in. Let's pop that along there. Good, and we'll get that clamped so that we haven't got to worry about using one hand to steady it. And here goes. Line the saw up tight against my guide. Keep this finger really pushing against the edge of the saw. And we're going to go down 4mm. We know that the lap joint is 5mm. So if we go down to about 1mm above the level of that lap joint, we'll be okay. Go a little bit further than that, I think. What we don't want to do is start cutting into the joint itself, because it will show at the side of the drawer. We don't want that to be the case. Good, no rock on that, I don't think. Now the moment of truth. Will that groove be big enough to take that card? Let's have a look. I think I'll start off by collapsing the edge of that a bit with the steel rule. And we'll see if that fits. Just picked it up there, which is a pity. Let's just smooth that down again. Yes, very nice too. Great. So we'll continue to do the other sides. I'm pleased. With this cut, we do need to go all the way down to the lap joint because it's only 4mm deep. But we don't want to do more than that. Good. Just touch that surface, but not more. Well, that's all my cuts done. Now we'll try and fit the whole thing together. And there we have it. A drawer with a sustainable bottom. And what we'll probably do, I don't know if we'll bother, but what we certainly could do is to cover this with some paper so that it doesn't look like a cat food box. But that's really good, and the mechanical strength of corrugated card is well within what we need to keep that both stable and also to put little bits and pieces in that drawer. Very nice. Before I can glue the drawer together, I've got to think about attaching a wooden drawer pull to the front of this. What drawer pull you choose is up to you. I've had a look online and there's quite a variety of different drawer pulls you can buy, brass or ceramic or whatever. I'm going to be using a pine one because it will match the wood that I'm using. And I need to place it in the middle, and I know that I've got to put a wood screw through the middle of that drawer front in order to attach it to it. And this wood screw has got a countersunk head, so I need to drill a 3.5mm hole through here and then countersink the back side of it so that when I put the screw in, it's going to be absolutely flush. To find the middle, I take my drawer front and I measure the diagonal. In this case, the diagonal is 145. So it figures that the halfway point will be at 72.5. So if I put a short line across 72.5 in one direction and the other direction, it'll give me the dead middle. I use a scriber to actually position my drill, and then I'll drill a 3.5mm hole through there and then countersink the 3.5mm hole on the back. We'll put a piece of material underneath. And we'll remember to put the countersink on the right side, i.e. the inside. And for the number 6 screw I'm going to use, I know that that's going to be plenty deep enough. One detail that I thought you might be interested in is that the corrugated card does bend along the length of the corrugations, and I think the drawer bottom would be stronger if I cut the corrugated card so that the corrugations were going in that direction. Just an idea, but I think I'm going to do it. I've set my band clamp up dry, and fortunately these corner bits aren't too big for the drawer that we're going to put together. I'm going to make absolutely sure that when I put the glue in, that the bottom surface is absolutely flush, so that it takes minimal planing to get it totally the same surface. If you noticed here, for instance, there's a little bit of a step. I need to adjust that when I come to glue it up so that it's absolutely in the right position. And the next stage will be to put the glue on, ready to go. Now I've got the band clamp set up correctly, so I can now disassemble the drawer and glue the joints as we have before. I need to put a little bit more glue on than I did with the carcass, because the gluing area is not as large, and I'm relying on these joints to hold the whole drawer stable. I haven't got the luxury of those housing joints to help with the mechanical fixing of the thing. Make sure that the plastic bits are in the middle, so that's where all the forces are acting. Double check that the bottom surface of the drawer is really flush. Check they're all in line, so I'm not going to pull it out of flat. And then finally, check that it's square. Really important that we do that. I've got a slight gap along here, and there should be a corresponding gap on the other side, which there is. So the whole thing's got to go in that direction, which I should be able to engineer. That looks really good. And one last check underneath, just to make sure that those surfaces are dead flush. Very good. We can put that to one side and let that dry. And I can get on drilling the hole and the countersink in the other drawer front and gluing that up too. So here's my second drawer assembled, and the first drawer will have been in the clamp about 20 minutes, probably longer. So I can take it out of the clamp and we can set about gluing up that second drawer. Perfect. Hooray! Both drawers done. Now, it's a bit of a naughty thing to do, but I'm going to just get the glue out from those joints on the inside with the edge of a steel rule. And I'm going to wipe that off very carefully so that it doesn't mess my steel rule up.